it's Sabrina. Today I'm going to be doing the Autumn book tag. That's what it's called, right? Yep. It was created by seelieknight, who I've been following on Instagram for forever because she is the most beautiful aesthetic feed I've ever seen. But since we're starting to get into fall here, I thought that this would be, I don't know, just a fun little book tag to do. So, oh my god, the kitten in the background, stop! So I haven't planned out any of my answers because I am a mess, so let's just go on this journey together and see what happens. Okay, so the first prompt is best autumnal themed book cover. The first thing that comes to my mind for this is Jane Eyre in the Penguin Clothbound edition because I'm obsessed with the Penguin Clothbound editions. It's not particularly fall, but it does have the red and I just think it's pretty. But let me see if I can find one that's a bit more like illustrated. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with McGlue by Tessa Moshfegh. This is a book that I recently picked up. I haven't read it yet though. It's not like, it depends how you think of fall, because it's not like, ooh, like colors of leaves, warm, seasonal, whatever, but it's kind of spooky, so I think it goes with the theme, because, you know, Halloween. I specifically love this color. I love the green and the red and how it's like, they're almost neon with the black background. I think it's so, so good. So I think if you're considering like autumnal, like Halloween-y, I think it fits. The next question is, which fictional friend group would you trust with a Ouija board? Jesus Christ. Maybe don't use a Ouija board. Just don't do that. That being said, is anyone trustworthy? I'm gonna go with the two main characters in the Winter trilogy, so starting with Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is less of a friend group and it's more so just like the main female protagonist. Like, she's definitely capable of handling that. Because my thing with Ouija boards is, okay, scary, ghosts, you know, I don't know how much I believe in ghosts, but it still freaks me out. But the main character, I think her name is like, I can never say her name. I'm just gonna say main character. She could totally kick ass if she needed to, if there was like some issue with ghosts. So yeah, I'm gonna go with her. Specifically, not her friend group. She doesn't really have any friends, which is kind of sad. Next question, in which book setting would you love to celebrate Halloween night? That's another hard one. I'm going with Lord of the Rings. I've never read the entirety of Lord of the Rings, but imagining like Rivendell and how beautiful it is and how beautiful it would be in the fall, I mean, there's just no competition. Next question, I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer to this one. This is best autumnal food descriptions inside of a story. Do people pay attention to this? Do people like remember how books describe food? I definitely do not. I can't even really think of any books that talk about food at all. Like, I don't know, maybe Harry Potter, but I'm not that big into Harry Potter, so I don't want that to be my answer. I mean, the only book where I can think of any description of food at all is one of the Lunar Chronicles books, I don't remember which one it is, and then also Game of Thrones. Maybe I'll go with Game of Thrones. I remember very distinctly at one point they were talking about like lemon tarts or lemon bars in Game of Thrones when Sansa is still like kidnapped by the Lannisters. So maybe I'll just go with that because that's the only food I can remember being described in a novel ever. Next question, which fictional character would you dress as? This one is pretty easy for me. I'm gonna say Feyre from A Court of Thorns and Roses, or not that one, later on in the series. My reason being is that I'm not like a crazy huge fan of Feyre or the series or Sarah J Maas in general, but Sarah J Maas always did this thing where she would like look at Pinterest and she would see all these beautiful like designer dresses or illustrations of dresses, and she would incorporate them. Like, she would pay attention to that very heavily, I remember. So a lot of the depictions of Feyre wearing dresses in like the night court, they were beautiful. And I remember going on her Pinterest at one point and like seeing some of the reference photos she was talking about, and they were all just like breathtaking. So I would love to wear a big, beautiful, fancy, expensive dress. After that, the next question is, what antagonist would you pledge your allegiance to? My god, what am I supposed to say to that? Why is this so hard? Okay, so for this one, I think I'm gonna go with the Pershendi from the Stormlight Archive. I was not thinking when I said literally any explanation. Why am I doing all this with my hands? I was not thinking when I gave any explanation for this, and I'm pretty sure thinking about it now that I just spoiled most of the Stormlight Archive. So I don't know what book in this series reveals this information. So just be on the safe side. If you have not read the Stormlight Archive, just mute or just scroll. Oh, Saphira! Just scroll until the book cover goes away. Sorry. I don't think I would necessarily like the enemy because the Voidbringers, it's much more complicated than the way I'm going to be describing it. But essentially, like, the Parshendi were like a race species that was native to this planet, and then everyone else came and the Parshendi became enslaved, and then where the novel currently is, the Parshendi have joined with like the forces of evil, and they're kind of being, what's it called, like possessed, and they're fighting back against the people who colonized their land and enslaved them. Again, it's a lot more complicated like that, and the Parshendi aren't necessarily the enemy overall, but I can 100% understand where they're coming from. And I can 100% support them. Maybe not the Voidbringers, but definitely the Parshendi. Okay, the next question. The creepiest book you've ever read? So this one's hard for me. Most of the horror or like creepy books that I've read have been Stephen King. I don't really get scared at books the way that I do at movies. I definitely get scared for movies, but if I'm reading something, it doesn't creep me out that much. I think that the closest thing I can get for this is Pet Sematary by Stephen King, just because even though the novel didn't scare me, the whole concept is like totally fucked when you're really thinking about it. Like, there's this cemetery where you can bury your dead pets, but then they come alive and they're just not the fucking same, and they're kind of evil. And then someone's child dies, and you might be able to see where it goes from there. Just so twisted though, like, who has a brain like that? Just the thought behind that plot is creepy, and it's kind of fucked up, so I'm gonna go with that one. I'm sorry, I've gotta pop in here again. I already did it, so might as well do it again. This is so fucking funny. Why am I acting like I'm the only person who has ever thought that Pet Sematary was disturbing? Like, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the book. Why am I... This is embarrassing. The next prompt is a book you've yet to read but will read this October. This one, I can't make any promises. I'm very moody. I read whatever I want and nothing else. So I'm just gonna move right past this one. I mean, I could list some books that I do want to read, I guess. One book that I want to get to, just like in a general sense, is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. It's not something that I've ever read before, but I know it's, first of all, a classic, a very popular and beloved classic. It's also a gothic. It has morally great characters. I've been wanting to get into it for a while just to see how I would feel about it. Another book, I'm gonna say Game of Thrones. I've already mentioned that I love Game of Thrones. It's been years since I've read them though, and I would really love to reread them. So yeah. And then the very last question, which fictional character would you put in charge of decorations for a Halloween party? This one I'm also going to have to reference a book I already did. I'm gonna go with Shallon from the Stormlight Archive. So Shallon is a light weaver, which means that she can create illusions, basically. So, I mean, that would be perfect for Halloween decor. Could you imagine, like, the type of crazy decorations you could come up with if you could literally make anything appear, no matter how, like, magical or nonsensical it is? And at no expense? Well, other than for her, not, like, monetary. But I think that would be so cool. So just 100,000% Shallon. Also, I love Shallon. She's my favorite character from the Stormlight Archive, so I would love to hang out with her and help her decorate the party. Even though I can't, like, we would figure it out. And that has brought us to the end of this tag. I thought I did pretty good considering that I didn't have any answers planned and I just had to look onto Goodreads and analyze all the books that I've read to come up with the answers. But that is all for today, guys, and thank you for watching. I will see you soon in the video. Bye!